Hi everyone, welcome to the Business Analysis and Project Management Prep. In today's video, we are walking through a case study that reflects the types of the scenario you will encounter in IIBA and PMP exams. We will break down a real-world project and analyze how to choose the best answer. So let's start with the scenario. A large retail chain is planning to expand its operation to the 3 new countries. The organization has experience with the international expansion but never operated in this specific market before. The project will involve implementing a new PMS system, integrating with the local payment providers, and adapting the business processes to compile with the local regulation. The business analysis team consists of the experienced business analysts who have worked on the similar project before, but they are not familiar with the specific countries they are targeted for. Local stakeholders have the limited availability for the engagement due to the time zone differences. The project has a fixed deadline due to the seasonal retail consideration, so the challenges include new regulatory environment, system integration, stakeholders time zone issue, and a strict deadline due to the seasonal retail cycle. So, question number 1. Based on the case study, which approach would be most appropriate for the business analysis work? So question 1 is ask us to choose the most appropriate business analysis approach. So when selecting a business analysis approach, it is crucial to tailor to its project's unique characteristics. Okay, agile or the predictive wouldn't work here due to the hybrid project management, deadline pressure, and the geographical issue. The BABOK section 3.1.4.1 state that different approaches may be used within the same initiative. So here, the hybrid approach works best because the team is experienced but unfamiliar with the new market, and the project uses both the traditional and agile method. So the answer is hybrid approach. Next question, question number 2. So in this case study, which factor would most significantly impact the formality of the business analysis document? So this question focuses on the what influence how formal your documentation should be. So documentation formally is heavy influenced by the stakeholders distribution. Since the local stakeholders are in the different time zones and have the limited availability, more formal documentation is necessary to ensure the clear communications and alignment. BABOK section 3.1.4.2 notes that when the stakeholders are spread out, like across the time zone, you need clear, possibly more formal documentation to ensure that everyone is aligned. So the answer here is the geographical distribution of the stakeholders across the time zone. Now let's move to the question number 3. Based on the case study, which risk factor would most likely impact the business analysis effort? So here you are assessing the risk to the business analysis efforts, and the biggest risk here is analyst unfamiliarity with the specific countries. Okay, even the experienced business analysis faces the challenge without local domain knowledge, which can be affect the quality and accuracy of the requirement gathering. So here, BABOK 3.1.4.5 highlight that unfamiliarity with the domain increases the uncertainty, making this the biggest risk factor here. So the answer here is the business analyst lack of familiarity with the specific country. Next question. So in the given case study, how should the timing of the business analysis activity plan? So for this, you are asked how to plan the timing of the BA task. So timing of the analysis activity must be carefully planned around the stakeholders' availability and the fixed project deadline. The hybrid approach also means BA work may need to be interactive and adaptive to changing the circumstances. BABOK 3.1.4.4 says is the timing is influenced by the resource availability, priority, and external constraints, all of which apply here. So the answer is account for the stakeholders' availability, fixed deadline, and the hybrid project approach. Let's move to the next question. Question 5. Which technique would be most valuable for the business analyst to use when the planning the business analysis approach for this case study? So here, this question is a technique focus. So the risk analysis and management is the most valuable technique here. Is help to identify the potential pitfalls like the unfamiliar markets and a tight deadline, allowing the team to proactively plan how to address this risk. The answer is risk analysis and management. Let's move to the next one. Question 6. In this case study, which stakeholders would be the most important to consult when developing the business analysis approach? So for this, you must identify the key stakeholders when planning your business analysis approach. Consulting the project manager is critical because they oversees the project timeline and resource allocation. The BA approach must be fit within the overall project plan, especially given the fixed deadline. BABOK 3.1.7 says PM ensure that BA works fits into the broader project plan, specifically when deadlines are tight and methods are hybrid. So the answer is project manager. Next one is, based on the case study, which element of the business analyst approach would be required the most attention? So here the focus on what you should emphasize most in your approach. Among all the elements, complexity and the risk management require the most attention. This project involves multiple complex factors, so that understanding and managing the risk is the key to a successful BA approach. BABOK 3.1.4.5 advise putting the special attention on complexity and the risk when planning a BA work. So the here answer is the complexity and the risk assessment. To summarize, successful business analysis in this case depends on the tailoring your approach, formalized documentation for the remote stakeholder, managing the risk related to the unfamiliar market, collaborating closely with the project manager, and planning your activities around the key constraints. Okay, so in this breakdown, help you to understand the case based on the question better. You give us a like and subscribe to the channel. I will be posting more real life case studies, best practices, and exam strategies. Check the description to read the detailed blog on the plan business analysis approach. Thank you.